Alright, I'm really excited to share this video because when I first started shooting street photography, I could have never imagined that I'd be hosting sold out community photo walks, let alone hosting my first ever community photo exhibit. And it just happens to be sponsored by Ilford, so I'm excited to break this down for you. Now, normally when I host a community photo walk, I'll have anywhere from like 25 to maybe 60 photographers join me for the day. And together we take on a bunch of different photo challenges, we'll learn some tips and tricks together, and ideally build a few relationships out of that day. Now, after each photo walk, I invite everyone to send me maybe their top 5 to 10 best photos of the day, and I'll either create an online gallery link for everyone to be able to see each other's work, or I'll create a quick recap video for YouTube, and it's another way for all of us to see what we shot for that day. But since I've been doing this for a few years, I really wanted to come up with something new. So I had this crazy idea of hosting a black and white film only community photo walk along with a community photo exhibit. Now, I didn't really know how to make this happen, but I knew it was something that I wanted to do because a lot of the photographers within my community have either A, never shot film, or B, never shown their work publicly. So I thought this would be a great experience for everyone to get involved. Now, I didn't know how to make this happen, but I was out at my local film lab, it's called Memento, and I was just talking to the guys there about this idea and trying to figure out how to bring it to life. And they mentioned that they have a connection with Ilford and that we might be able to partner with them for the photo walk and the exhibit. And that's exactly what happened. So I'm gonna save the breakdown for how all of this came to be, including the printing, the framing, the setup of the show, and even a quick recap of the event night. But for now, let's just jump into the photo walk because I want you guys to get the experience, or at least see a bit of the experience that we had while we were shooting that day. So let's check it out. Today's photo walk's a little bit different than our normal vibe. We actually have Ilford as a sponsor and Memento as a secondary sponsor. So what that means is everybody in the space today is gonna get a roll of Ilford HP 5 plus 400, and it's 36 frames. So that's the first thing. And if you don't have a film camera, it's all good. We have the Ilford Sprite point and shoots, and the guys at Memento are gonna help load the film. The other cool thing is because Memento's on board, they're going to offer free processing, so free developing and scanning. And then the second part of this photo walk, which is really dope, is we are doing a community photo gallery right here in this space. And everyone's gonna get one photo on this wall as the group show in July. So long story short, there are no challenges today. If you've been on my other photo walks, I'm not challenging you with a bunch of things. Yeah, you're right. The challenge is definitely the film. But there's a theme. So the theme of today's walk that translates into the theme of the show is life as we know it. So you can interpret that any way that you want during the course of today. right, so we made it to Memento Film Lab. We're gonna head inside. I'm gonna show you guys how the prints are actually getting made. It's a really cool process. We're gonna end up framing everything today, and we're actually gonna hang the show. So let's get a behind the scenes look, and you can follow me.
This here, as you can see, is an older style printer. No ink involved in any of this process. It's actually very similar to developing film, where we actually expose the light sensitive paper to the image itself, and then the paper then gets developed through chemistry to then give you the image, kind of like what you would get in a dark room like back in the older days. So the way it all works is, if you come over here, the screen actually is a good indicator of what's going on. You'll see the whole setup plus the different tanks that the prints go through, and then over here as well, you'll notice this is where you have your chemistry, so your developer, your bleach fix, stabilizer, all that stuff that the paper goes through, just like when you're developing film. And if we go over here, we then upload the photos. Give that a second. It is 24, 25-year-old software, so it's gonna take a little longer. Like, the paper's in here, and it's funny because it has like the red lights on, so that means like don't open the door, because if you open the door, you're gonna expose everything to light. So you leave that closed, and essentially the paper is in these light-sealed magazines. It gets cut as it gets fed through here, and then it gets then developed through the machine. And like I said, there's no ink, dude. That's literally just light and chemistry, man. Just so bringing these images to life. So that's why we decided to get one of these printers. It is old, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but it still gives you that like real authentic film process, you know?
So sick. It looks like as close to in the darkroom as possible.
Exactly, yeah. Look at that, eh? Not bad for a little point and shoot, eh?
That's crazy. So the other thing is, everyone that's showing up doesn't know which photo I selected.
Sweet.
So not only is it some of their first time showing work, it's going to be like a surprise when they walk in the door.
That's amazing, dude. So that's such a good idea too. They don't know what to expect. They don't know which. Yeah, that's amazing.
I kind of wish someone did that for me, because I think that feeling would be crazy.
Totally, dude. Yeah, to have someone else choose their favorite shot of yours is always like a nice surprise, and yeah, man, that'd be really. That can be very awesome for them.
So that's the vibe.
Sweet.
Wicked.
Okay. So that's the printing then.
Printing is done.
Printing's done, and then I guess essentially setup, dude. Like, what are you thinking then? So we can essentially tag team this in terms of like, I can take the existing photos out of the frames, and then if you want to put them in, and then in terms of layout, all this stuff we can get rid of. That's no problem.
Cool.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna need the space.
Exactly. Yeah.
Even like, I love this, but I even think this is gonna.
We should move it. Yeah. We usually, for like bigger parties, we usually get this out of the way.
Okay.
All this stuff, same thing, no problem.
Cool.
So realistically, dude, like you can figure out. You've been to enough shows here. You know what I mean. You've kind of figured out like the layouts, and if you want to do, like use up the whole wall, use up that wall, use up whatever you think, dude.
Okay, so I'm going to save all of us a little bit of time, and I'll just give you a quick recap, because this install actually took me over 4 hours to put up, and none of us need to see all of that footage. But overall, I was really happy with how everything turned out, from Ilford sponsoring the event and donating each photographer with a roll of film, to Memento donating the prints and the frames, and obviously donating their gallery space. To the 21 local photographers who joined my community photo walk and decided to share their work, and to the over 200 people who came out on opening night. All in all, this was like an incredible project for me. It was very special to be able to bring the community together and do something like a gallery exhibit. And I hope this was just a first of many. So my goal would be to do this again next year, ideally bigger and better, with even more support and more photographers within the community. And who knows, maybe it's not limited to just Toronto. I would love to do this somewhere else around the world. But until then, I'm just gonna keep doing what I'm doing. So thank you for watching as always, and I'll catch up with you next video. All right, peace.